Now you will see top 3 cryptocurrencies to invest in this year based on my experiences of holding cryptocurrencies since 2015 and creating educational cryptocurrency videos since 2017. Then I will also show you the buy crypto in one click. But before that I want to give you a legal disclaimer. This is not a finance advice, this is not investment advice, this is simply my personal opinion and observation of the facts. Because you are watching this video, you have probably already learned that government currencies are collapsing. US dollar has lost more than 89% of its value against Bitcoin in the last 5 years, and other government currencies are losing value even faster. For example, euro has lost more than 90% of its value in the last 5 years against Bitcoin, and other government currencies are losing value even faster. Indian rupee has lost more than 91% of its value in the last 5 years against Bitcoin, and in the last 6.5 years Indian rupee has lost almost 99% of its value against Bitcoin. And the same applies to euro. Also in the last 6.5 years it has lost almost 99% of its value against Bitcoin. So you understand that government currencies are going down, and now you want some strong money that goes up in value instead of going down in value like dollar, like euro, like Indian rupee, like British pound, like all of these weak currencies. So we are going to analyze this more than 20,000 cryptocurrencies based on 2 criteria. First, the fundamental analysis, so the fundamentals of these cryptocurrencies, and second, the price analysis. When is the great time to buy? First of all, when you take a look at prices, you see that Bitcoin is number 1, and Bitcoin has always been number 1 since the beginning of cryptocurrencies. Always Bitcoin has been the biggest one, and that's why many people say that Bitcoin is completely unique and completely different than any other cryptocurrencies. That's why many people want to talk differently about Bitcoin and crypto, because Bitcoin is so unique. The first thing that makes Bitcoin unique is the scarcity, meaning that it has a limited supply of 21 million coins. Meanwhile, with government currencies, for example Indian rupee, euro and US dollar, all of them have an unlimited supply, so governments can print unlimited amount of those currencies. Meanwhile, nobody can create more than 21 million Bitcoin that is already pre-programmed, and that also makes Bitcoin different than any other cryptocurrency. Because if we compare Bitcoin, for example, to Ethereum, which is ranked number 2, you can take a look at Ethereum's issuance rate, and you can see that it has been regularly changing. Here is a chart from the last 6-7 years. You can see that it's constantly changing, and the leaders of Ethereum are all the time changing the rules in the same way like if you would be playing a board game and somebody just starts changing the rules during the game. It's kind of like the same with Ethereum and many other cryptocurrencies. The leader are changing the rules in those cryptocurrencies. Meanwhile, Bitcoin cannot be changed in the same way, and that brings us to our second point, which is decentralization. For example, Vitalik Buterin has a lot of power over Ethereum. CZ, the CEO of Binance, has a lot of power over BNB. Charles Hoskinson has power over Cardano. Rich venture capitalists have a lot of power over Solana. Ripple organization has a lot of power over XRP. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is decentralized. Bitcoin doesn't have a CEO. Bitcoin doesn't have a headquarters. Bitcoin doesn't have a leader. Bitcoin is the most decentralized. We can also look at the same in the numbers. If you take a look at, for example, Bitcoin reachable nodes, there are more than 15,000 nodes and probably more than 100,000 in total if we also calculate the reachable and unreachable nodes. Let's compare that to one of the biggest cryptocurrencies, which is BNB. They have less than 100 validators. In March 2022, they had 41 validators. Just compare the scale. Bitcoin is completely on its own scale. Or if we compare the mining hash rate, you can take a look at Ethereum hash rate. It's right here. Let's compare that, for example, to Dogecoin. You can see sometimes Dogecoin had a bigger hash rate than Ethereum, but at the moment Ethereum has a little bit bigger one. But when we put here BTC, you can see that it's completely on its own category. The hash rate of Dogecoin and Ethereum is so small that you can hardly even see them here on the bottom of this chart. So Bitcoin is completely on its own category when it comes to decentralization. And of course, Bitcoin is not only scarce, it's also the most decentralized one, and it's also unconfiscatable, meaning that when you own a Bitcoin, nobody can take it from you. Meanwhile, with many other currencies, those leaders can freeze your funds and they can do all kinds of things. What we have learned recently from Solana, or for example on Ethereum in DAO hack, when they reversed the chains. So leaders have made a lot of changes over the years, which basically tells us that with most of these cryptocurrencies, a couple of people are in power in the same way like with government currencies, unlike with Bitcoin that doesn't have a leader. So that is part of the fundamentals.